title, "Do Not Let the Man in the Yellow Apron Offer You a Job." It began with a job posting that didn't belong. I was browsing a local classified site looking for part-time work when I saw the listing. No company name, no salary. Just a single line, "Hiring. Meet at Alley 7, under the red light, 3:03 a.m. sharp. Come alone. Wear gray." The post had no timestamp, no contact number, and it was gone the moment I refreshed the page. I should have left it there. I should have just moved on like any sane person would. But something about it lodged itself in the folds of my mind like a sliver of bone stuck in your gums. That same night, I found myself pulling on my dullest hoodie and heading out into the frozen dark. Alley 7 wasn't numbered on any city map, but I'd heard of it, a crumbling slice of concrete between two shuttered vape shops downtown. Nothing but stray cats and cracked needles. But when I got there, something had changed. The alley pulsed with warmth, like there was a fire just around the corner, and a glowing red industrial light buzzed overhead. The shadows swayed wrong, like the buildings were breathing. At exactly 3:03 a.m., a man stepped out from behind a dumpster. He was wearing a spotless yellow apron over what looked like butcher's whites. His face was long and strange, with a sharp jaw and lips that peeled back too far when he smiled. "You're early," he said. His voice was bright but didn't echo right. "That's good. Rule 1, always be early. Time bleeds if you're late." I nodded slowly, unsure if this was performance art or meth-induced lunacy. "You want the job?" he asked, already reaching into the apron's pocket. I said yes. "Why?" "I don't know. Maybe because I wanted to believe this was just a prank. Or maybe something older than reason had started to wake up inside me." He handed me a small booklet, no larger than my palm. It was wrapped in wax paper and smelled like old hair and iron. The title, written in rust-colored ink, said, "Operational Conduct for Employee 1 to 7, Rules for Safe Employment. Read it before sunrise," he said, then turned on his heel and walked into the wall. Not down the alley. Into the wall. Like it folded to let him pass. I sprinted home and locked every door behind me. My fingers shook as I peeled open the booklet. The pages were thick, almost like leather, and the ink shimmered like oil on water. Inside were rules. Dozens of them. Some simple. Some not. All chilling. Excerpts from the rulebook. 1. Never look at your own reflection after midnight. If it smiles before you do, call out sick. 2. Do not acknowledge anyone who hums between 3 o'clock and 3:10 a.m. They are not part of the staff. 3. If your shoelaces untie on their own, stop moving. Wait until the lights flicker 3 times, then continue. 4. You may be asked to deliver a small, black envelope to unit below. Do not open it. Do not read the name. If it feels hot, drop it. Walk away. 5. Every Thursday at 4:44 a.m., a child in soaked pajamas may knock at your door. Give them your name. You will be assigned a new one shortly after. 6. You will be watched. This is not a threat. This is job security. 7. Do not bring your own food, especially meat, especially lamb. 8. The man in the yellow apron is not your boss. He is a facilitator. If he ever asks you to cover for him, resign. 9. Never follow the smell of bread. It is not bread. 10. On your 7th shift, you will be asked to make a choice. The knife or the mirror. Choose neither. Bite your tongue. Bleed. Swallow it. Wait. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't go to work the next morning. But my phone rang at 3:03 p.m. sharp. The screen just read "Ready" in bold yellow text. It vibrated with a rhythm that matched my own heartbeat. I didn't answer. By the 3rd day, I noticed my reflection blinking when I didn't. It mimicked me less and less. Sometimes I caught it mouthing things I couldn't hear. I taped over every mirror, but the screen started reflecting again. My microwave. My car window. My dark coffee. The humming started the same night, low, wet, like a throat full of marbles. I tried to throw the booklet away. I burned it. I buried the ashes in concrete. But each morning it was there again, under my pillow, in my mailbox, tucked between my fingers when I woke up gasping. Tonight is Thursday. It's already 4:42 a.m. There's wet footprints in the hallway. My name is no longer on my ID. The child hasn't knocked yet. I think I'm being offered the job permanently. Whatever you do, don't accept anything from the man in the yellow apron. He doesn't offer jobs. He offers openings. He offers openings. And I think he offered one to me. The night after the footprints appeared, something changed in the air of my apartment. You know that feeling when you're in an old house and something creaks behind you? Not loud, just soft enough to make your spine stiffen? It was like that, except it never stopped. Every breath of wind through the vents felt like it carried words I couldn't quite hear. The lights would flicker, not off, not on, but like they were blinking at me, judging, or warning. I started leaving them off altogether. Darkness, as it turns out, doesn't lie. I tried leaving town, packed everything, jumped into my car, and started driving west with no destination. But the highway wouldn't end. I drove for what should have been 6 hours, and I swear the exits looped. Exit 17. Exit 17 again. A rest stop where the same old man sat in the same chair, nodding like he expected me. I tried to talk to him. His lips moved, but no sound came. The man in the yellow apron was leaning on the vending machine behind him. Not watching me, watching my reflection in the machine's glass. I swerved off the road and drove straight into a cornfield, engine screaming, heart pounding in my throat. The stalks scratched the windshield like claws, and when the car finally stopped, everything was silent. No crickets, no wind, no nothing. I stepped out, panting, gripping my phone like it was a crucifix. I opened the map. My location read, beneath. Just that. One word. I still don't know what it meant. I turned back. The road was gone. My car was gone. But the alley? That red light? It was ahead of me again. I walked. I don't remember how long. Time bent like metal in heat. I saw places that shouldn't exist. A flickering sign that said now hiring grievers. A diner where the menu listed things like regret, well done, and spine soup. And there were people. Kind of. Pale, slow-moving figures. Faces like they'd forgotten their shape. They moved in loops, getting into invisible cars, falling down invisible stairs, arguing with no one. When one saw me, she opened her mouth wide, too wide, and out came my name, the one I gave the child. I ran. When I finally reached the red light, it wasn't in the alley anymore. It was above a doorway carved into a wall of flesh. That's the only way I can describe it. Veined, pulsing, wet. The doorway flexed like a throat about to swallow. The man in the yellow apron stood beside it, smiling like he'd never stopped. "You're ready," he said, and held out a hand. "You've seen the surface. You've survived the echo. That means one thing." "What?" I croaked. I don't know why I spoke. I don't know why I didn't run. "That you're hollow enough to carry something through." Then he turned to the wall and whispered something. It shuddered and split open. I screamed. I screamed. There were faces inside the wall. Thousands. Some were crying. Some were grinning. Some were just watching. They shifted and blinked and pressed against the membrane like they were desperate to come through. But they couldn't. Not without help. Not without me. I ran, again. Somehow, this time I made it home. My shoes were soaked in something not water, and the smell clung to me even after 3 showers. But everything seemed normal for a few hours. Like none of it had happened. My apartment was still mine. My cat was still asleep on the couch like she hadn't starved for days. The booklet was gone. The humming had stopped. Until tonight. There's a knock on my door again. Slow. Measured. Not frantic like before. Confident. I looked through the peephole. There was no child. There was me. Or something that looked like me. Gray hoodie. Tired eyes. But it smiled first. Not a normal smile. A deliberate, mechanical lifting of the lips. Like it was practicing. Like it was warming up. And I remembered rule 1. If your reflection smiles before you do. It lifts its hand now. Not to knock. To scratch. Nails dragging down the door slowly. The sound vibrating through the floorboards like it's in the foundation. My lights just flickered 3 times. The smell of bread is creeping through the vents. I didn't bring any food. And my phone screen just lit up again. It doesn't say ready this time. It says, "The opening is in you now." I don't think this is a job anymore. I think I've already been hired. I think I'm the next door. That thought alone felt like a death sentence. I curled up in the corner of my apartment, knees to chest, watching the door tremble under the weight of that thing scratching, no, stroking, it like it was petting something it owned. Every inch of my skin prickled with a raw cold that didn't come from the air, but from inside. Like something was leaking inward. I kept repeating to myself that if I just stayed put, didn't move, didn't breathe loud, it might leave, that I might leave. But the problem with being the next door is that you don't get to choose what comes through you. The scratching stopped. Not suddenly. It tapered off into slow, gentle thumps, like knuckles knocking from a great distance. The peephole went dark. I crept toward it, moving like I was underwater, heart hammering like it was trying to leave my chest. I leaned close, barely breathing, and peered through. It was me again, but older, with gray veins spidering under the skin like cracks in marble. My eyes were cloudy, not blind, but overwritten, like a reused VHS tape, and my mouth moved, slowly, without sound. I leaned closer, trying to read the lips. They were saying, over and over, "You're already open. You were always open. You've just forgotten how to close." I blinked. When I opened my eyes, the hallway was gone. The peephole now stared into something else entirely. A long, dark corridor of wet stone and flickering candlelight. Something writhed just out of view. I stepped back, trembling, and that's when the walls of my apartment began to breathe. Not metaphorically. Literally. In and out. Slow and sick. Paint bubbled like skin with fever, and the floor felt soft beneath my feet. I backed away, nearly tripping over my coffee table, and my TV turned on by itself. Snowy static. But beneath the hiss, I could hear my own voice. "I think I'm the next door," it whispered, looped, warped. "The next door. Next door." I unplugged the TV, but it stayed on. The screen rippled like water, and behind the static, I saw the man in the yellow apron again. But this time, he wasn't smiling. His face was blank. Hollow. A black pit opened in the center of his face where his mouth should be, and something crawled out of it. It had my eyes. I bolted into the bathroom, slammed the door, locked it, sat against it. The lights overhead buzzed, pulsed, then died. Only the soft blue glow of my toothbrush charger lit the room. I thought if I could just hide, just stay in the light, I'd be okay. But I'd forgotten the mirror. I caught the movement from the corner of my eye. My reflection was already waiting. It was sitting where I should be standing, knees up, smiling. And then it lifted its hand and waved. My own hand didn't move. The reflection stood up, calmly, stretched. Then it stepped forward, not toward me, toward the inside of the mirror, like it was walking deeper into the glass. The room behind it stretched impossibly far. A corridor made of meat and teeth and bone opened up behind it, and other reflections stood along the edges, some missing pieces, others too complete, with extra eyes or grins split too wide. The thing wearing my face looked back at me, hand pressed flat against the mirror. The surface bulged outward like jelly. Then I heard the knock again. This time not from the front door, not from outside. It came from inside my skull. And I felt it, the shift, the way the air bent, like something was trying to push through me. A pressure building in my chest, hot and screaming. I vomited black threads, not liquid, not solid. They curled into shapes mid-air, whispering as they fell. They slid into the floorboards, and I realized they weren't leaving me. They were anchoring me, stitching me to the place I'd become. The TV in the other room shattered. My phone exploded with notifications all reading the same thing. Entry successful. My body isn't mine anymore. I move when I don't mean to. I speak words I don't understand. I see things when I blink, like someone else is using the darkness behind my eyelids as a screen. People walk past my apartment, but they never see me. They knock. They ask for jobs. And when they come in, they don't leave. I hear the man in the yellow apron every time the hallway goes quiet. He hums now. It's always the same song. I think it's from a cartoon. He never enters. He just waits, and smiles, like a gardener watching his seeds grow. If you're reading this, I must have found a way to write it down before I became something else completely. Maybe you found this scribbled in a bathroom stall. Maybe on a discarded phone. Maybe your inbox, by accident. But it's not a warning anymore. It's an invitation. Because the thing is, doors don't stay closed forever. They open. And now, so do I.